Good morning and welcome to our press conference here to unveil a better way to a prosperous Connecticut. When you walk around just about any neighborhood in Connecticut and talk to your neighbors, your friends, your constituents, and talk just about general economy of Connecticut, they'll tell you that they want more, that we can do better. And Connecticut has for too long lagged behind the nation in both jobs and job growth as well as income growth. What you'll hear constantly, time and time again, is that Connecticut is unaffordable. Part of that is that we have a government that taxes too much and the cost of living is too high. A 40-year inflation has contributed to that. But also part of that equation is that Connecticut families don't get the value of their labor. They don't have the jobs that pay the good salaries that enable them to buy a home, educate their kids, and to make communities better. Instead, what we have is an economy in Connecticut that creates all too often more minimum wage jobs than really good paying jobs. And that's been our focus. What we do is not just say no to what the majority is doing, but come up with creative solutions that work for Connecticut families. And when we're talking about workforce development, that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking to make Connecticut, which is a great state, even better. And the way that we're going to do that is to look at various things. A couple of weeks ago, we brought out an initiative dealing with energy affordability. Because as people opened up their bills this month, they found a shocking increase in the cost of their energy. Last week, we looked at affordable health care. We've put on the table a bill that will reduce health care costs by 30% for the average family of four. That's $7,000 a year, $600 a month in the family budget. That's real money. And today, what we're going to do is we're going to look at three real areas. One, to look at broadening our skill base. How can we improve our workforce and give kids and families an opportunity to thrive? We're also going to address the workforce shortages, places where we see needed help, such as healthcare and teachers. And lastly, we're also going to support and enhance our already innovative and creative skill sets that we have right here in Connecticut, our insurance and our defense contracting capabilities. If we work on all these areas, guess what? Connecticut families will do better. With that, what I'd like to do is turn this program over to two senators who have worked diligently for a number of months, talking to stakeholders, individuals who have really put together this comprehensive plan and done a phenomenal job. I'll start with Senator Henry Martin.
Thank you, Senator Kelly. One of the common themes that Senator Cigarella and I heard during our various conversations with stakeholders is the word pathways. And in our plan, a better way to opportunity that's in front of you, we want to encourage the state to take the lead in creating those career pathways. Pathways to becoming a nurse or a teacher, construction trade worker, educator, IT, hospitality, finance, marketing, and more. For far too long, our children have been hearing that to be successful, you need to go to college. Our education system, including our parents, conditioned multiple generations to attend higher ed and stigmatize the manufacturing, the construction trades as well, and discourage students from pursuing other careers. Over 12 or more years ago, while I was a board member on the board of directors of the Chamber of Commerce in Bristol, I learned from the manufacturing sector of the workforce gap that was taking place. And that was the start of what I had been hearing for years. A retiring workforce with no workers to fill the gap. So they also went on to say that our students were not prepared to enter the workforce. So our educators were sort of missing the mark. And the required skills that they were not being taught in school was something that needed to change. Further, they went on to say that individuals could earn a very good living without not necessarily going to college. So not to undermine higher ed or an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree, but what they were trying to say in simple terms was that listen, we need to share with our students a different set of skills, and those set of skills necessarily do not require perhaps a 4-year degree. Today, other businesses are saying the same thing, other business sectors. Since last session, Senator Cigarella and myself have spoken to and visited over 30 different stakeholders, organizations, as well as associations, government agencies, the trades, higher ed, and superintendent of schools as another. We learned that the message that they started, we learned that the message that I started to hear over 12 years ago, and that the manufacturers that led the way, that the students need to be educated on workforce skills, has been heard by so many school districts and higher ed as well. The message has also been heard by the associations and chambers. They've developed curriculum, apprenticeships, internships, and workforce programs to address the specific workforce needs that is in their part of Connecticut. Now, there are pockets that we have seen. There are small pockets. The programs are infant in starting, meaning that they're small and not all of Connecticut are being addressed with these career pathways. More needs to be done to cover the entire state. We want to encourage the state to take the lead to making sure that students can pursue career pathways. Significant obstacles need to be overcome in order for that workforce to be expanded. We're asking the state to create a rubric, an overarching guideline for school districts to follow in developing career pathways. It's about best practices, getting students key skills early on. In addition to the rubric, our plan to expedite the workforce came from ideas that we learned from the stakeholders. It asked the state, our plan, to develop a new program for an accelerated pathway to certification for teachers in trades. It asks also for the state to expand reciprocity opportunities for out-of-state teachers. It asks the state to work with the Connecticut Hospital Association to develop curriculum for a high school healthcare academy. It also asks high schools to discuss the benefits of attending a trade school or adult workforce program alongside any discussions of enrolling at a traditional 2 or 4 year college. And as lawmakers, we should work together to create those pathways to lifelong careers. We heard from the business community loud and clear, and we created this better way to opportunity with those goals in mind. And with that, I'd like to turn this over to Senator Cigarella.
Thank you. And I'd like to start by thanking Senator Kelly for tapping on Senator Martin and I to get the opportunity to spend the time with our stakeholders. We have businesses, Board of Educations, teachers, nonprofits, unions, and professions across every space. And we realize there's a problem. There's a help wanted sign everywhere. Just a few minutes ago, I had to be a senator and be the camera guy moving the microphone. We have a lot of open positions out there. And we have a very large population of professionals that are going to be retiring. And we're going to lose a lot of those years of wisdom and institutional knowledge as people retire. And we need to really pay attention to that. As Senator Martin said, we spent a lot of time working with our stakeholders, but we also have a lot of people behind the scenes in our caucus and other senators that really did a lot of work, setting up these appointments, following up, and we really needed to do that to get the real information, to get an understanding of what is going on, where are the challenges, and how we could address those. And in brief, workforce development touches a lot of different areas. You have early education, where you could teach somebody early on in 8th grade, really start to introduce them to professions so they could understand what they want to do. And very importantly, teach them the value of a dollar. So they're really going to have a head start coming out and getting into that next step of life, really understanding what they're getting themselves into. One of the interesting topics or conversations I had with, I believe it was a Board of Education, they do a career fair and a graduation process at the end of the year. And one of the exercises is to set up a fake store inside the gym, give them fake money, and go pay all of their bills. The kids were shocked to realize they had to pay their own cell phone bill. That's a problem. And this will address some of that. We also have other forms of workforce development. It's retraining, finding people that are out there that maybe didn't go to a higher education, didn't take a trade up outside of high school, and introduce them to the companies that are hiring people at $70,000, $80,000 a year, if not more, with room to grow. And we have a lot of opportunities, and a lot of this Better Way is going to address that, and we're excited to keep the ball rolling in the right direction. I heard, again, from businesses like Banton Construction. We have Paul from Banton Construction and James here, who actually sat in some of the meetings at the Board of Education with the superintendent of schools and principals in North Haven, and were explaining they need help. They need people coming out of high school that may not want to go to college, and they were explaining that these are great careers, retirement, benefits, and we have to connect these groups together. And part of that process can be working with nonprofits. There are a lot of nonprofits out there that do great work for workforce development. They're very passionate, but we are duplicating a lot of efforts. We've seen that in the last year and a half of talking to the stakeholders. We need to address that, streamline the process, and make sure we're going to be able to address this workforce shortage that we're seeing. And again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. This is a very important topic. We braved the snow to come out here and do this. Again, thank you very much for allowing us to work on this.
Well, thank you, Senator Ciccarella, and also Senator Martin. As you've heard, they've obviously put a significant effort into this, and you've heard the passion in what they've said, because what we're looking at is actually creating real solutions that work for Connecticut families. We're not just here to say no to what the majority is doing, but we're actually offering the better way, because Connecticut is that great state that can be better. Now, today we obviously had some snow. It threw us a little bit of a curveball. We did have a number of people who are going to join us, so I would like to thank Paul Brandt from Banton Construction and his group for coming and braving the storm to be here. Those who were unable to come but did say that they were going to be here were the Connecticut Construction Industries Association. That would be President Don Schubert. Also Nate Brown from the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 478. They were also going to be here, and Bristol Works, Director Kim Ward-Holly, as well as the President and CEO of the Central Connecticut Chamber of Commerce, Cindy Bombard. Unfortunately, because of the weather, they weren't able to be here today, but we do have broad-based support for our initiatives moving forward. With that, I would also like to thank another person who braved the storm today, which is Bristol Public Schools Supervisor of Secondary Math, Science, and Technical Education, Dr. Jamie Reichenberg, who'd like to say a few words.
Thank you for having me. I wanted to share a little bit about the story of things that are unfolding in Bristol. As a result of community collaboration, some deep professional learning, and innovative problem solving, Bristol will be paving the way for high school students on paths towards careers in 6 concentration areas, including business and finance, education, engineering and technical sciences, the fine arts, medical and health sciences, and hospitality management. Under each concentration area, we have a variety of pathways that are narrowing the focus for our students. Each of the pathways that we have created provides a student with a variety of opportunities to learn essential skills, experience a career through work-based learning opportunities, gain an industry-recognized credential, and or gain college credit through dual enrollment opportunities. Through partnership with the Connecticut State Department of Education and the National Center for College and Career Transition, the Bristol stakeholders have done 2 years of learning to ultimately support the development of our pathway program and to meet our district and regional needs. Our learning allowed us to explore existing programs and academies around the country, as well as the time to identify our own priorities and strategically plan and build our own unique program. In Bristol, we strongly believe that all students need to be prepared for college, so we wanted to provide opportunities for students to explore college-level content and gain credits prior to graduation. Each of our pathways offer students the ability to gain college credit through articulations with the Connecticut State Community Colleges and universities. Each pathway also has opportunities for students to gain industry-recognized credentials. Work-based learning and cooperative work experiences are being developed across the district through both our homegrown CWE program and a partnership with Ready CT. This year, we anticipate more than 100 students participating in both paid and unpaid internships across the Bristol community. Bristol teachers are intertwining employability skills and training into their lessons, and Ready CT is working with our students to build their employability skills through a variety of opportunities during the school day and outside of the school day. Our career concentration areas and pathways will be live beginning in the 2023-24 school year. Currently, students are working with the guidance department to identify and select their concentration areas and build their class schedules for next year. We are dedicated to continually finding innovative ways to adapt the program to best meet the needs of our students and look forward to further development within our pathways as we learn and implement. Outside of the schools, the Bristol community has come together to build Bristol Works. It is a training center. The center is designed to support Bristol residents who are unemployed or underemployed in gaining training in the areas of healthcare, information management, manufacturing, and early childhood education. Through ARPA funding, the training center and curriculum was designed and constructed with partnerships from a variety of community members, including local businesses, the Central Connecticut Chamber of Commerce, Bristol Schools, Tunxus Community College, NESMA, City of Bristol, the School Readiness Council, and the Main Street Community Foundation. The pathways offered at Bristol Works have a direct connection to the pathways offered at Bristol Schools and support connections at Tunxus Community College and Connecticut's own Career Connect programs. The coursework and credentials offered are strategic and support the development of a skilled workforce while building toward an individual's financial independence. No matter where students or adults in Bristol are in their journey, through community collaboration, clear pathways, we know we can find on-roads to careers that will be beneficial to both the individual and the community at large.
Thank you very much.